Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about my birth story with my first son Landon. I just feel like, I don't know, like people like hearing about birth stories. I like hearing about birth stories, so I just thought it would be an interesting video. So I guess I'll start, but I just want to like jump right on into it. So I guess I'll just start with a little bit of background on how my pregnancy went with him. Honestly, my pregnancy was really awesome. I was really blessed to have such a great pregnancy. There was nothing out of the normal. Everything was healthy. The only issue that I had during that pregnancy was like a lot of round ligament pain, which is basically like when your belly is stretching, all of the ligaments and the just vessels and everything are like basically ripping apart and stretching. So that was really painful for me, and I got a lot of back spasms, which was really horrible. I couldn't get up. So that was like the only thing, but other than that, like I was able to like continue working out. I was able to continue doing like normal day-to-day activities unless it was a day that my stomach and my back were stretching, which was which wasn't very often. That's kind of like the same with this pregnancy, but I don't have as much, I think, because just it being the second pregnancy, my body's kind of used to it. So that's a background on that. So everything was great, it was healthy. So Landon's due date was August 10th, and he decided to bake for 4 days. So he was 4 days late, so he was born on August 14th. So it was Saturday night. Me and my husband were in bed. It was about like 10:30 p.m. and we were watching The Flash on Netflix. So it was just like a normal night. I started getting some contractions, which like I got so many Braxton Hicks that like I just like every time I got a contraction I just didn't get excited anymore. I was like, okay, whatever, like I know it's a Braxton Hicks, so whatever. But I always counted the minutes in between each one, and I normally had about like 3 contractions lasting like 7 minutes apart, and then it would stop after the third one. So I was like, hey, whatever, here's the third one, and then a fourth one came, and that was kind of like a trigger, like a red flag, like, okay, so I gotta pay attention. And then 5 or 7 minutes passed, then the fifth one came, and then I finally told my husband what was going on. I was like, I think it's time. Like, I think this is actual contractions, but like, don't call anybody yet. I want to like for sure make sure that this is actually it. So I got out of bed, I hopped in the shower, I tried to like relax myself. So I was just standing there, just breathing, trying to relax. And then 5 minutes came and another contraction hit. So it was getting closer together. And my husband comes in and he was like, so like, have you had another one? Like, what's going on? Should I call people? So I was like, I think so, like I think this is it. So he called his parents, and at the time we were living at his parents' house, but nobody was home. His mom was at work, his dad was getting well, I guess beers at Fridays. So we called them, let them know what was going on. We called my mom, and we waited for Jason's dad, my husband, and his sister to come meet us at the house, and then once they got there, we left. So at this point, it was like 11:30 at night, almost midnight. So on the way to the hospital is when the contractions started getting like pretty serious. Like I couldn't talk through it. I couldn't, like, nothing. I just had to focus on my breathing. So as soon as we got to the hospital, I was like, I need the anesthesiologist like now. I'm in a lot of pain, and if he's not here, I want him here like as soon as possible. So get that started. So they took me to my room, they called the anesthesiologist. It took him about like 15-20 minutes to get there because I don't think he was at the hospital. So those 15-20 minutes were probably like the longest 20 minutes of my entire life because it was so painful. And at this point, the contractions were like every 2 minutes. So, yeah, that was, I just remember it being super painful. And I remember like going through it and like holding my husband's hand and being like, I can't do this. Like, I can't, like, this is so hard. How am I supposed to do this? Like, this, the anesthesiologist needs to get here. Like, it hurts so bad. And then you get like a 2 minute, like a 1 to 2 minute break in between to breathe and like act like a normal human being. And then it hits you. So it was hard. And then once the anesthesiologist got there, my husband had to leave the room so they can give me my epidural. I didn't see the needle. I didn't see anything. I didn't want to see anything. It's a super sterile process, so they don't even show you it. Basically, a nurse just comes in and holds you forward, and like so you can like lean forward on her as like the anesthesiologist puts the needle in your back. So I was terrified. I didn't want my husband to leave the room, but he had to because of it being such a sterile process. The nurse was wearing a wig. The anesthesiologist was wearing a wig. I had to wear a wig, or a wig, a cap. So, yeah, it wasn't painful. I don't remember the shot being painful at all. I don't remember feeling it. They numb your back before they even stick the needle in. It just felt like a big pinch. Like it didn't really faze me. Like I'd rather take that than the labor pains, to be honest. So after that happened, they sent my husband back in, and that takes like another like 15 minutes to kick in. So I had another 15 minutes of pain. But once that kicked in, it was easy sailing. Like I honestly, like you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, and this isn't like you're gonna be like what, but I really enjoyed my labor experience. It was really like it was such a beautiful experience, and it was such a like humbling experience. So yeah, I after I had the epidural, everything was great. You could still feel the pressure, like the amount that I had in myself. I could still feel the pressure, but I couldn't feel the pain. And that's what I wanted. And they give you like this button, so if you do start, so if you do start feeling pain, you could push the button and it'll shoot more. So I started to feel some more pain like after maybe like a couple hours or so. So I hit the button, and then all of a sudden like I started getting really bad contractions. Like I could feel it, and I was like, what's going on? Like I've been pushing my button, like nothing's happening. Like I'm not feeling any better. So they called the anesthesiologist back in, and it turns out that my button wasn't working. So yeah. So they had to reset it up, and they finally got it working, but it was another 15 minutes for it to actually like kick in and start working. So that was another harsh 15 minutes. But then after that, the button was working. So we waited, we waited, and this whole time, I think I was only like between 2 and 4 centimeters, and at this point, it was like probably like 2 in the morning. So they're like, try and get some rest, blah, blah, blah. My husband slept. I could not sleep for the life of me. I was just too excited and too like amped up and nervous and just a bunch of emotions. I feel like the night went by so fast. And then morning came, and it was like 7:30, and my doctor checked to see how dilated I was, and I was about 8 centimeters. So she was like, wake Jason up. I think we're going to start pushing soon. It seems like you're like making progress. So I woke Jason up, and I was like, we're going to start pushing soon. So let's just try and get prepared as we can get. So, yeah, it was like 7:45. I was 10 centimeters, and it was go time. So, we started pushing, and he was here at 8:31 in the morning on the 14th, Sunday morning. So I got blessed, and I was only pushing for a total of like 45 minutes. When the normal amount of hours pushing is 2 hours, if not more. Which is crazy to me because that's what I was expecting. I was like, all right, here we go. Like 2 hours of pushing. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I got to do it somehow, obviously. My husband was amazing through the entire thing. He was truly a great help. He put on worship music, and I think that was a huge thing too. Was just like the presence of the Lord was so there and so prevalent that like I think I think that is another reason why it was so easy. It was just amazing. But it only took 45 minutes. I honestly think that's because of how young I am, or was. I was only 22 at the time. So I think my body just kind of took over. Like your body just kind of takes over and knows what to do. Like I think so. I think being young had a lot to do with it. I think being in shape has a lot to do with it, and it depends on how you're pushing, which is kind of confusing. If you push correctly, it makes it like a breeze. But honestly, no amount of labor classes can prepare you for actual labor. Like, I didn't take any classes because I was like, like, what's the point? You're not even going to be thinking about, oh, I learned this in class. I'm going to do this technique. Like, no, you just push. Like, honestly, the only thing that I learned, I looked up a video on is breathing, like how to breathe through your contractions, and then the correct way to push. So I just YouTubed it, and I didn't take any classes uh, because I feel like, why? I don't know. I didn't need them. Jason didn't need them. So he was 10.2. He was 10 pounds and 2 ounces, and none of us were expecting that, not even my doctor. She was shocked when she saw him, and we were shocked when they weighed him because I was expecting like 8 pounds, and they're like 10.2. I mean, Jason looked at each other like, how? Like, how did that happen? How did I have a 10-pound baby? Like, how? And naturally at that, like, how? I don't, I don't know. I don't get it. It's its own entity. Like, I'm so mind blown. Anyways, I will try and insert some pictures of when he was born and us in the hospital and all of that. So let me scooch, and I will put them here. So if there's more, I'm just going to sit here for just a little bit because I don't even know what pictures I want to put here. But we'll just leave this a little bit blank for now. So yeah, he came out being 10.2. I forget the length, which is horrible. I should know how long he was. But he was a big baby. But yeah, so that is my labor story. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, you can always leave a comment down below. You can talk to me on Instagram if you guys have any questions. But that's it. I mean, my labor was really beautiful and simple, and I hate to say it, but it was easy. I had no issues. I healed quickly. I only had about like 2 stitches, and I'm just very blessed that I had an easy pregnancy. I had an easy labor. A lot of women don't, and like my heart goes out to them, and I wish that I could pass this to them. I wish I could. I wish everybody had an easy labor and easy pregnancies. I don't know how this labor is gonna go. I'm hoping and praying for it to be just as humbling and easygoing and non-stressful. So I mean, I will do another one like this once he's here. So yeah, our hospital stay was simple. We were there for I think 3 days. Our insurance allowed, and I wanted to stay there longer. I was so sad about going home because Landon wouldn't latch, and I had to call in the nurse and like the lactation specialist so many times. Like so many times. So I was really nervous about bringing him home because I was like, if he can't latch, then like, what am I supposed to do? The one thing that like I I'm supposed to be doing is feeding my child and I can't even do it. It's like, what? I was just like really discouraged about it. But that was the only hard part about that hospital stay, and obviously the lack of sleep was really, really difficult. It took a toll on me because the hormones that happen after pregnancy, nobody talks about that, by the way. You have so much more hormones after birth than you do when you're pregnant. And no, I didn't know that. Nobody talked about that. I could do a separate video on that. I was a super emotional pregnant person with Landon. This one I don't even have time to like think about my emotions because I'm dealing with a toddler. But yeah, nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about the emotions and the hard part of like giving birth, and all of the emotions like and all of your hormones are just like I don't know what that sound effect was. But it's just so much. It's so many emotions. So it was like the no sleep, him not latching, this new baby that they're supposed to be trusting me with to take home. It's a lot. That's like for a whole nother video because I could talk about that for forever. I guess I'll end it here. So yeah, my labor was really humbling and beautiful, and I'm really excited to, it's going to sound so crazy, I'm really excited to go through it again. It's going to be another beautiful experience, whether it be bad or good or whatever, it's still going to be my labor story. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just feel like I jambled and jumbled through it, but yeah, that's my labor story. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Bye. These are so good, you guys. Like, I don't understand. They should be illegal because I can't stop eating them.